bless you and praise you for this day that you granted unto us. We pray now, Lord, that as we look into your word, that you would speak a word to us, Holy Spirit, for we need a word from you. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, for you are our strength and our redeemer. Forgive us for our many faults and failures. Help us to not stand in our own righteousness, but in the righteousness of Jesus the Christ. For it's in his name we pray. Amen. 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 God bless you. Thank you. To our debutantes and to our choir, we thank you so much for leading us in worship on this Women's Sunday. Amen. This morning we want to invite you to join with us in the second book of Corinthians. Second book of Corinthians. Amen. Corinthians. 2 Corinthians. If you are able to find 1 Corinthians, it's the book that follows. 2 Corinthians chapter 12, beginning with verse 6. 2 Corinthians chapter 12, beginning with verse 6. Even if I should choose to boast, I would not be a fool, because I would be speaking the truth. But I refrain, so no one will think more of me than is warranted by what I do or say, or because of these surpassing great revelations. Therefore, in order to keep me from becoming conceited, I was given a thorn in my flesh, a messenger of Satan to torment me. 3 times I pleaded with the Lord, take it away from me. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. That is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weaknesses, in insults, in hardships, in persecution, and difficulties. For when I am weak, then I am strong. Looking back at verse 7, the latter part, therefore, in order to keep me from becoming conceited, I was given a thorn in my flesh, a messenger of Satan to torment me. 3 times. 3 times. I pleaded with the Lord to take it from me. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. For a few moments out of 2 Corinthians chapter 12, we want to talk from the subject, when problems just won't go away. When problems just won't go away. And things just won't get any better. I've been dealing with the problem and pressures a long time. And even though, as many of us say, I'm not going to claim, the reality is whether I claim it or not, it's there. And not only is it there, but it's been there a long time. been there a long time, wrestled with it, prayed about it, struggled with it. But in spite of all of that, that problem, that situation, that circumstance, that trial, that tribulation has not gotten any better. It has not moved anyway. It has not moved anyway. And so the question before us today is, what do you do? How do you handle it when the problem just won't go away? It's been hanging around a long time. And I know we've all heard trouble don't last always. But God, sometimes I wonder, how long is this trouble gonna last? How long is it gonna last? How long, God, do I have to put up with and endure the hardships and the struggles that I am facing right now? What do you do? How do you handle it when problems just won't go away? Paul is writing to a church. He's writing to a church of individuals who have gotten off track. They have allowed false teachers to move in. And they have been able to move in so effectively till they have taken the church's attention off of the Christ and put it on themselves. They have taken the attention off of Christ and have put it on themselves. In fact, Paul says in chapter 10, verse 12, about these individuals, we dare not classify or compare ourselves with some who commend or brag about themselves when they measure themselves by themselves and compare themselves with themselves. They are not wise. And the reason why they oftentimes look so big is because they not measure themselves against nobody. In fact, he says that I have been careful not to boast and brag about who I am and what I've done. In fact, chapter 11, verse 17, he says, let the one who boasts not boast about himself, but let him boast in the Lord. Let him boast in the Lord, for it is not the one who commends himself he is approved. And you bragging about yourself and talking about yourself don't make you all of that. It is the one who the Lord commends. It's the one whom the Lord commends. And he writes because these individuals in this church at Corinth had began bragging and promoting themselves, and they saw themselves as better than everybody else, and more spiritual. They saw themselves as more spiritual. They saw themselves as more spiritual. They saw themselves as more spiritual. Let me say that again. They saw themselves as more spiritual. And I just want to let you know, you be careful. You be careful of those folks who think they are more spiritual than everybody else. In fact, if you look at chapter 11, verse 5, he says, I do not think I am in the least inferior. I do not think, Paul says, that I am in the least inferior. I do not think, chapter 11, verse 5, that I am the least inferior to these super apostles. These individuals, these Christians, they got the big S on their chest. And they think they are more spiritual and holy and righteous than everybody else. I wish I had somebody that knew some of these super saints. These folk who think they are better than everybody else. These folk who think they walk around on cloud nine. These folk that think they don't stink. They think everybody else is messed up. Everybody else, but ain't nothing wrong with them. Paul says, you watch. Those super super spiritual saints. And watch that. Because he says, I'm going to tell you what I've observed about them folk. Chapter 11, verse 13. For such people, chapter 11, verse 13. For such people, these super apostles, these super saints, these holy out. Hallelujah. Let me tell you, he says in my observation, chapter 11, verse 13, for such people are false apostles, deceitful workers, masquerading as apostles of Christ. And no wonder they can masquerade, no wonder they can put on airs, no wonder that they can think of this shit, and no wonder they're so good they ought to get an Oscar, they ought to get a Grammy. They are so good at masquerading. You know why? They are so good at masquerading. You know why? They're so good at masquerading because Satan himself is nothing but a masquerade. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. And in the end he says they will get what they deserve. Oh yes, they'll get what they deserve. And I didn't get caught up in that. I didn't get caught up with that. I didn't get caught up with that. I didn't get caught up in bragging about myself. Oh yes, I didn't get caught up trying to act like I was more spiritual than everybody else. And he says, but don't get this thing twisted. Because I like chapter 11, verse 16. Let no one take me for a fool. Oh yeah, don't take me for a fool now. Don't take me for a fool, because see, if anybody else got something to boast about, I can boast too. I can boast too. Oh yes, I got something I can brag about too. I got something that I can throw up in your face too. Oh yes, I'm somebody too. Verse 22, am I a Hebrew? Chapter 11, verse 22, are they Hebrews? So am I. The Israelites? So am I. Are they Abraham's descendants? So am I. Are they servants of Christ? Look, he said, I'm out of my mind even go this way. I'm not even going to let you take me there. Oh yes, I'm not going to take you there. Chapter 12, verse 1, I could go on boasting where our text is today. I could go on bragging about who I am and what I've accomplished. I could go about bragging and boasting. Yeah, but you know what he says? Let me tell you, there ain't nothing good about it. There's nothing, although I know there's nothing to gain by boasting. Oh yes, there's nothing to gain by boasting. There's nothing to brag about by boasting. Because see, those who puff you up today, they'll deflate you tomorrow. Let me say that one more time. Those who boast you up today and prop you up today and pump you up today, they'll be ready to bust your bubble. Let me give you an example. I know I'm treading dangerous ground. I know I'm going to be treading on some dangerous ground. I know I'm at Cornerstone Baptist Church. And I'm going to be treading on some dangerous ground. But last year, Jason Garrett, y'all know who that is, don't you? Last year, Jason Garrett was voted the best coach in the NFL. And just last week, not even a good year, they was ready to get rid of him. Yeah, just last year, Dak was the best quarterback. Everybody loved Dak. Oh yes, you got a Dak attack because you just love Dak. But you know what they said, lad? Get rid of him. We gotta have somebody else. Because I've learned. You better be careful. You better be careful. How you let folk pump you up today? Because them same folk that's smiling in your face will be staring you in your back tomorrow. And so I don't let folk pump me up. Oh no, I don't let folk pump me up. You be careful how you let folk pump you up. I've learned. I've been at Cornerstone long enough to know that some folk come to the pastor, I love you. I love you. And when I've been around long enough to know what that translates is, what that translates is. is I love you as long as you do things the way I want you to do things. I love you as long as you do what I say do. I love you as long as you go my route and do things. But the moment you cross, I wish I had a witness up in here. The moment you cross, them same folk that loved you today, they'll stab you in your back tomorrow. Beat you. I'm not gonna get caught up. Oh yeah, you can't pump my ego. Oh yes, you can't pump my ego. Oh yes, I don't need all that. Oh yes, I've learned, I've even learned that if folk never say amen, I preach at enough churches where you can't buy an amen to know how to preach on anyhow. And if I have to just preach myself happy, it don't mean I don't need it. You ain't never gotta tell me thank you, because I know who I serve, and I know who called me, and I know who I'm answer to, and I don't need all that. I can go on about revelations and vision. Let me tell you. Well, and the reason why I don't need all that, he says, because I can tell you what the Lord done showed me. Yeah, I can tell you what the Lord done showed me. And see, when the Lord done showed you some stuff, it don't matter what folks say, because you already know what God has said. What did he show me? I got caught up. It says, I got caught up, verse 2. In the third heaven, and where we see now in the atmosphere is the first heaven, the stars and the planets, the second heaven. He says, even beyond that, God took me way out there. I don't know if I was in the body or not. I just know I had an experience with God. I had an experience with God. I had me an experience with God. I had me an experience with God. And once I had an experience with God, it didn't matter what other folks said. I had me an experience with God. And I tell you, if you have an experience with God, it doesn't matter how people try to hold you back and shoot you down and talk about you and criticize you. You done had an experience with God. God done took me to another level, he said. Caught up in verse 4. Paradise, and God showed me some great things inexpressible. Things no one was permitted to tell. I done seen some stuff. See, if I was gonna boast, if I was gonna brag, I wouldn't brag about somebody whose life is futile and failing, and somebody that may be up today and down tomorrow. I'll brag about what God has shown me. Took me out there. God allowed me to go on cloud 9. Oh yes, God done allowed me to go to cloud 9. And if I was going to boast or brag, I would brag about something like that. And he says, let me tell you, verse 6, even if I should choose to boast, if I should choose to boast, I wouldn't be like them fools y'all been listening to. That's what it says right there, don't it? I would not be a fool. Because the difference between my boast and their boast is these my boast is true. My boast is true. But I refrain so that no one, I want to make sure, I want to make sure the reason why I don't boast about and brag about what God did for me, because I don't want you to think it's about me. And let me say that again, it's not about. It ain't about me. Let me help somebody here. It's not about me. I want to make sure that it's not about me. And notice I refrain so no one will think more of me than want to do than what I do or say. Verse 7. And because of this great revelation, because of what God has shown me, because of what I've experienced, because I know after I had a walk with God, you can't get me off track then. Yes. I done been on cloud 9. I know for myself what God is able to do. And I don't care what the devil says my way. I can send him a message that you can't make me doubt. You can't make me doubt. And you know why you much about. Oh, yeah. See, I done had it, things I couldn't even talk about. And just like 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 9, I have not seen, it have not heard, neither has entered into the hearts of men the things that God has in store. I done seen all that. I done seen it. I done been up there. I done seen all that. I done seen how good God is and how great God is and what God is able to do. And yes, if I needed to be pumped up, I got something that I need to be pumped up about. And haven't had that experience. There's a temptation to get a little conceited. Temptation to walk around with my head in the head. Not a part of verse 7. Therefore, after all I've experienced and all that I've seen, in order for me to keep me from becoming conceited, in order for me to keep me from getting a big, you know what happened to me? I was given a thorn in my flesh. Oh yes, God allowed me to have some pain. Thorn, something to annoy me. Thorn, something to irritate me. Thorn, something to get on my last nerve. And I don't know if you've ever had a splinter in your finger, but you know, a splinter ain't that big, but you know how a splinter can just make you so miserable, can get on your last nerve. And the reason why a splinter is so difficult to deal with, because it's hard to get a hold to. Let me say that again. The reason why a splinter is oftentimes difficult to deal with and difficult to handle, because it's hard to get a hold to. I had a thorn. Something that was just irritating me. Yeah, thorn. Something that just kept nagging at me. And commentators have said that the thorn in Paul's side might have been his bad eyesight. He says that the thorn in Paul's side might have been some kind of ailment. Might have been some kind of ailment. Well, what was the thorn? What? And they walk around saying, what? What was the thorn in Paul's side? What? Well, Paul answers the text. Paul says, well, first of all, I want you to know that my thorn, don't miss this, because this will help somebody. My thorn wasn't a what? My thorn was a who? Can I get a witness here? What was it? What? It was a messenger. It was a messenger. It was a messenger of Satan. Oh yes. Satan wanted to get at me, so he dispatched somebody. He dispatched somebody to try to irritate me. He dispatched somebody to get on my last nerve. He done dispatched somebody to try to get me to go there. He dispatched somebody. And I tell you, you better be careful, because the devil is not about the what. The devil is trying to send you a who. Romans 8:28. Paul says, let me tell you some things that I've learned. Chapter 8:28, all things work together for good. Them that love the Lord, to them that are called according to purpose. Goes on to verse 34. What shall we say in response to all the stuff that I'm going through? If God is for us, who? Because the devil uses who? He did not spare his own son, but he gave him up for all, and along with he will graciously give us all things. But verse 33, God will give us all things. But verse 33 says, who? Bring a charge against those whom God has chosen. It is him who is justified. Verse 34, who? Then is the one who condemns no one, Christ, who died and is raised, who is raised in at the right hand of the Father. Verse 35, who? Try to separate me from the love of Christ. And you know how the who is working. You know how the who is working. You know how the who works. He tries to send trouble and hardship and persecution and famine and nakedness and sword. Who? Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Yes, because my biggest storm. Hallelujah, right here. My biggest storm. Hallelujah, right now. My biggest storm. Hallelujah, right here. My biggest storms ain't always been the what. It's been the who's. Hallelujah. Oh yes, oh yes. Somebody say, I get it now, Chris. That supervisor was my who. That person that I was sleeping with, I found myself sleeping with the enemy, was a who. And notice what their mission is. Notice what their purpose is. Notice why they are sent. Notice why they are sent. The text says they are only sent with one purpose, to try to torment me. Trying to torment me. Trying to make my life miserable. Torment me. Make me hate going even to the doors of my job. Hate to even walk by their way. What do? Paul says, I'm glad you asked. I'm a man of prayer. I've come to find out for myself what prayer can do. When I was in this situation, you know what I did? You know what I did? I prayed about it. Paul said, I prayed about that thorn in my prep. I prayed about that thorn that was in my flesh. I prayed about that person that was tormenting me. I prayed about that person that was terrorizing me. Prayed about it. You know why I prayed about it? Because Paul says, I know what prayer can do. Yes, oh yes, chapter 12, verse 12. Paul says, be patient, be joyful in hope, patient in affliction. You be faithful in prayer. Paul says, I know what prayer can do. That's why Philippians chapter 4, verses 6 and 7, he wrote, do not be anxious about anything. Do not worry about anything. But by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your prayer request to God. And the God of peace that transcends all understanding will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. Paul says, I know what prayer can do. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. Verses 16 through 18, it says, rejoice evermore. Pray without ceasing. Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus concerning you. But Paul says, I want you to understand, I know what prayer can do. Writes in Ephesians chapter 3, verse 20, now unto him who is able to do exceedingly abundant above all that you can ask or think, according to the power that is at work with you. Paul said, I know. All right. Yes, sir. Prayer can do. Yes, sir. Know the important power of prayer, Paul says, because Jesus, Luke chapter 18, verse 1 says, then Jesus told his disciples a parable that men ought to always pray. Not faint. Jesus told us what prayer can do. chapter 11, verse 9 through 13.